Hi, welcome to another Derek Does. Today, we're doing these. Probably should have worn a green shirt showing a green pair of boots, but this is the classic jungle boot, U.S. Army issued. I've had a few jungle boots and combat boots over the years, and I've loved them all, except for one pair of combat boots I bought. Actually, the first pair I bought was from, I bought them a long time ago, one of those catalogs that sold regulars, and I got them, and there was just a standard leather combat boot, and it just felt weird, and I couldn't figure it out, and the problem was one side had 13 eyelets and the other side had 12 eyelets, so it was constantly pulling. I returned them, but I did pick up this pair many years ago. Every once in a while somebody finds a warehouse full of unused combat boots, and this was one of those pairs. It was a pair of jungle boots, not combat boots. This is the Vietnam jungle boot, and these are actually from the time period. These are actually dated 68. I'll get a better picture of it for you later. Actually, March 68. These are 11 regulars, and still in really good shape. I've worn them actually quite a bit, as you can tell. The main difference between a jungle boot and a combat boot, particularly of that era of Vietnam and past, probably up until Desert Storm area when they stopped kind of making that style, is the jungle boot was actually made for warm weather and wet conditions, while the combat boot was made for all conditions basically, but not really wet. And a combat boot's all leather, and a jungle boot is leather at the bottom, but then canvas at the top, and also has two, I guess you call them eyelets, but they're like vents that allow water. These are actually brass, I believe, that allow water to come in and out. So you can see it's leather here all the way around, but then it's canvas up here, but then leather here. Also, the difference between a jungle boot, particularly the older original style, and the modern combat boots, is it doesn't have speed laces. It actually has just normal eyelets for your laces, where a regular combat boot would have the quick speed lace you'd pull up and they would get tight. The pair's in gray. This is an 11R, and the difference you can tell here, this actually does have the Panama sole. The very first ones had a Vibram sole, and as you can see, even the Panama sole, I don't even know when I picked all this mud up, but I did at one time, and it's just been sitting there. The originals were Vibram, like you'd have like on a normal regular boot, and it just caked up so much with the jungle material in Vietnam. They went with this quick release Panama sole, and it's pretty good, but you still get mud stuck in it. So what you have is you have a really nice leather that forms to the foot really well, and it has more of a curved toe, so it's not constricting. They're kind of like made for every man that would wear this, and it has the reinforced, kind of like the jump boots has that on the leather ones. It's just an extra, so you don't rip it out if you get it, especially when it starts getting wet and stuff like that. I don't actually go getting these wet for the most part because I'm not going through any jungles. But they're really nice boots. I really like them. They're comfortable as anything, really, because they're really lightweight, and especially with the canvas, they just bend really good. Now this does have a big giant metal spike protector inside there. Obviously I can't show you. These are Genesco, as you can see there, 11R. Different manufacturers made different boots. This is a pretty standard military issue. As you can see, It's 11 regular, and if I can get this just right, then you can see 1968. I wonder if this one's easier to read. That's a little easier to read. So it's March 1968 is when these were made and probably issued, but really not worn. They originally came with like this plasticky, odor-absorbing sole, which I don't think offered any protection. It was just to keep your boots from stinking. But actually, I think I do have a, I can't really tell in there, but there is a just a foam protector, you know, not a protector, but just a liner in there that I did put in. Here's the close-up of the brass. As you can see there, it actually is brass, or maybe a brass alloy. Now, when you buy a pair of military boots, things to look out for. Make sure they're not all regulars, like I said, because that can really mess things up. Another thing is, they look so similar and they made so many pairs. Make sure that you have a pretty much a matching pair, that they're actually made from the same company. As you can see, these are from the same company and they're the same size too. That's another thing. It's like you may find a pair, but one's a 10.5 and one's an 11, and this is a wide and this is a the smaller size or something like that. So look for that when you find a pair, just because if you go to an Army surplus stores, which really don't exist anymore, they would just get a box of boots and then they just kind of piece them together. It's like, oh, these are the same size, but they could fit totally different from a different manufacturer. But as you can see, this one's actually dated the same as 368. And this is 368. So this is an actual matching pair. And also, when I got these, they were actually tied together and had a little card, I believe, that came with them. Because again, they were NOS, nice old stock, never used. But you can see they really hold up well. Even the rubber still has a little bit of give. It hasn't gotten hard like a lot of times if you get a World War II boot or a Korea War boot, the leather soles are just so, the oils are all gone and they're just hard as a rock, and you really just need to get them replaced because walking on them is like walking on bricks. If you like this sort of content, I still have a few more boots to show you and a bunch of other stuff. Feel free to subscribe, like, let me know if you've got a pair of these, because you don't see them like people rocking them again like they used to. You know, when I was a younger guy, everyone had combat boots or had a pair of jungle boots. It was just because it was a cheap pair of boots you could get, and they fit great and they last a long, long time. But you really don't see it that much anymore. But this again is my 1968 US issue jungle boot, just like the classic Vietnam jungle boot. See you next time.